today. This is a live interview question and answer session that I wanted to host for my fantastic followers here on YouTube and any other platform that you are particularly watching this live stream on. There are a lot of candidates that I've spoken with over the past 20 years. I've done hundreds of interviews at this point, ladies, and I've seen a lot of things that happen in interviews. So I want to be able to provide you with the expert level advice that will help you do very well on your next interview. So this is an opportunity for you to ask me questions. I'm going to be on here for a few minutes to really help you. If you're having challenges during the interview process and things are not working out the way that you would like for them to be, then I'm here to help you. I will give you my honest guidance to help you on your journey as you are perhaps responding to questions, and just share with you my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, as a manager, as a director, and a public speaker that can help you be able to elevate how you are communicating in your interview so that hopefully you are able to secure an employment opportunity that is really important to you. Now, I do have a few questions that have been asked of me offline that I will start with those questions first and be able to provide a response there while I'm waiting for some questions in the chat. And as I mentioned, I'll be able to answer them for you. And even if you're watching this video on the replay, then feel free to ask your questions in the comments. I'll be happy to respond to them. If you want to get some more specific assistance as it relates to this process of interviewing, then reach out to me at info@exciteexcellence.org. This is something that I have helped many women in leadership be able to do absolutely well on their interviews and secure employment opportunities. So if you want some more support, one-on-one interview guidance, then reach out to me. So I'm going to read the first question that I was asked today and provide some insight. And if you have any other questions, let me know. Okay, so give me just a second. So the first question that I received as it relates to interview, this is a scenario-based question. Hello, hi, how are you doing today? Welcome, welcome, glad that you're here today. So the first question that I received before I get questions in the comments was, this particular person has been on second and third interviews several times, but for some reason, she has not been able to land an employment opportunity. What are some suggestions that you would recommend for me to do so that when I have my next interview, I can be successful? This is a great question. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I am hosting a live Q&A on interview preparation. If you have questions as it relates to the interview process, or if you're having any challenges as it relates to interviewing, or maybe you just need to just bounce some ideas off of someone, then just let me know. I'm going to share with you over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, director, and public speaker. I've looked at hundreds of resumes. I've done many, many hirings, and I'll be able to help you. So if you have any questions as it relates to interviewing, place them in the comments below. Right now, I'm about to answer a question that was asked of me offline about second and third interviews for a person and they haven't been able to secure a job just yet. So I'm going to answer that, and that'll give you all some time to ask me some questions. This is an opportunity for you to get some very high-level expert guidance on how you can be successful in your interviews that are coming up. And if you know somebody that is in the interview process, they haven't been able to secure employment, then have them reach out to me, let them know about this live, let them know about my channel. I'll be happy to provide them with some really expert level guidance. They're going to get over 20 years of experience in a very short amount of time. So to answer the question that was asked, when you have an employment opportunity that is having you go through second and third interviews, it depends on the job. That may be something that you might want to think about. There's a trend I've noticed now in the job market where there is this second and third job interview that people are going through. And from my experience, I'm noticing that oftentimes these second and third job interviews, they don't work out. for some reason they don't work out. And I don't know, sometimes it can be there's different people that you have to meet within the organization. That may be one part of it. Or it may just be the fact that the organization, they may not have it together. Now, I hate to say that, but I'm telling you from the opposite side, on the hiring side, they may not have things together just yet. So that's something to consider. However, to specifically answer the question, what can you do if you have been going to second and third interviews and you're not securing an employment opportunity? The first suggestion I would have is to be very optimistic. It doesn't necessarily all the time mean that you are doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that it's your fault. It may not be the right fit. And it may be a scenario where if you were to accept this position or take this position, it may be one of the most miserable and toxic experiences you've ever had in your life. So sometimes it's very easy for us to get very frustrated about the hiring process. Why is it taking so long? Why am I not securing employment? I need a job right now. And I completely understand that. But sometimes we do need to look back and just reflect and just make sure we're going for the best opportunity. And sometimes things may not line up and that may not be the opportunity for you. And so that's something to keep in mind. So first, don't take it personally. It may just not be the right fit for you. And it may be a blessing in disguise. You could have had a really bad time. So just take that, number one. The second thing that I would suggest for you to think about when you're going through those second and third interviews and you're not securing an employment opportunity is to think about how you are communicating and articulating your value. Oftentimes what happens when we are in an interview setting, it is not the easiest setting to be in. You have someone that's asking you questions. You almost feel like you're being interrogated, right? Like someone's got a white light and they're just asking you like, where'd you go to school? How long did you go to school? What did you do for the past 10 years? What have you been up to? All these kind of questions. It can be a bit intimidating when you have an interview. I admit it can be. However, how you respond to those questions may be dictating the next steps in your journey. So if you are responding to questions in a very positive way, very affirmative, very confident way, showing your expertise, then you may be able to proceed to the next round of the interviews or hopefully get an employment opportunity. Now, in terms of not responding in a very confident way, or perhaps you're not being as confident as you like to be, then I would recommend, sorry, my kids are crying. They're okay. But I would say if you're not responding in a very confident way, then it can actually make it very, very difficult for them to want to move forward with you as a specific candidate. Sorry, they are like playing and probably doing some things down there. But nonetheless, it's how you're responding is really, really important. And you have to keep in mind, these positions that they have nowadays are very, 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 very highly competitive. So keep that in mind. This is something that you want to know and be very abreast of as you're applying for different positions. Now, I'm going to definitely have a couple of things come up for you and help you on your journey as it's relating to interviewing. So just keep that in mind. And what I'll end up doing for you here in the very near future, oh, things are quiet now. So what I'll do in the very near future is provide you with some insight, provide you with the masterclass as it relates to salary negotiation and interview preparation that will help you on your journey to securing employment. So that is the response I would give for that particular person is don't take it personally. Make sure you're presenting yourself in a very confident and controlled manner when you're responding to interview questions, and know that the job market is very competitive right now. So you really have to have that elevated level of communication skills to be at that next level, to really present yourself as the absolute best person for this particular job, because employers are looking for individuals who are going to elevate their company or elevate their business, elevate their mission or their vision. So you want to be that person. However, in order to be that person, you have to act like that person. You have to present yourself as such. That's what I would recommend to do for this particular scenario. Now that things are quiet on my end over here, what I'm going to do is go through the second question that I was asked. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. Put them in the comments below. I'll be happy to help you and answer any questions you may have as it relates to interviewing for upcoming positions. Alrighty. The second question that I was asked was, I get very nervous when I'm in an interview and I have a hard time thinking on my feet to respond. What suggestions do you have for me to do with this particular situation that will help me to respond on my feet? Well, first, that's a great question. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. They don't know how to think on their feet. And a lot of times, it's the fact that we're not taught how to think on our feet, especially when it comes to interviewing and having a conversation with other people. And what I found that has been successful when you have those scenarios come up is to just come prepared. Being able to communicate at a higher level requires you to plan ahead. And if you're very good with planning, you will absolutely be able to answer questions and think on your feet. You may need some guidance, you may need some instruction and strategies on how to do that, which is why you and I should have a conversation so I can help you with that. But this is a great way for you to start planning in advance. So if you know as much information as you can, or if you're in a specific industry and you want to be able to show your expertise and answer questions just as you're thinking very quickly on your feet, then you want to have a good knowledge base. That's where you have to start. In the policy world, when you're making policies and you're developing policies, you have to know a lot of information about a little bit of topics here and there. And so I use this strategy to help my clients be able to do this and develop that knowledge base that they need to have so that if they're asked a question, then they can respond to it very, very quickly. So that is one of the first things I'd recommend to do is take a moment and just plan in advance so that you will be able to have a good knowledge base to respond to questions when they come up. The second recommendation I would have for you that ask this question is when you establish your knowledge base, you know exactly what it is, what you want to talk about. Then the second thing that you will want to do will be to reference some of that information that you learned into your response. So you may want to say, I reviewed in this article, or I reviewed on this particular website, or I reviewed some content for this specific organization that highlights a statistic or a very important data point or something along those lines, because these type of responses and statements that you're making are positioning you as an expert. So this is something that you definitely want to try to do if you are thinking on your feet, because thinking on your feet requires you to, one, you need to be confident enough to do it. And then number two, it shows that you can think on your feet. And it's very important, especially when you're in an interview setting, to be able to respond to questions in a very articulate way that shows that you are an expert in your field. The reason being is that most of the time, people really struggle with this. I cannot tell you how many interviews I personally have conducted where I've asked questions and the response I get is very, very quiet, or you don't hear anything, or they may say, I don't know, I'm not sure, I haven't thought about that, I don't know how to respond, can we ask that question later? Those are responses that I personally have received. And when I am interviewing other people, and let's say I ask those same questions and the response they give me is, oh, I've seen this happen in this particular industry, or I've noticed these trends, then I will guarantee you, guess who I'm going to actually hire? I'm going to hire number two, the person that actually answered the question, not the individual that said, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know what to do. Now, if this is something you have done in your career, it's okay. That's why you are following my channel. That's why you subscribe to my channel, hopefully, so that you can communicate at a higher level than your peers. So if you have done anything like that, it's all right. We're starting over, right? We're starting over fresh. And we're learning, these are some statements that you do not need to make when you are in an interview. And we should absolutely have a conversation about where you are, where you want to be, and how I can help you get there. Alrighty, so that's out the way. So those are really the two things I would recommend in this particular scenario when you're not thinking, when you're not having a hard time think on your feet and you're not quite sure what to do. So what I'm going to do is recap, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to recap. These are some very important strategies that you need to have to be successful in your interviews. The first strategy you want to consider is being able to prepare in advance for your interview and do some research and be able to talk about that. The next is to make sure that you reference some of the information that you have learned in your research, in your responses during your interview or during your presentation. And if you're having a hard time thinking on your feet, then a great way for you to be able to overcome this is to speak in a very articulate manner. Make sure you're communicating at the highest level possible to show that you are the absolute best candidate for this particular position. And you want to be able to have the opportunity to do some research and be able to show that you are the best person for the position. I shared with you some words that you do not want to say in the interview. I don't know. I'm not sure. Can you ask me another question? No, don't say anything like that. We want you to be the person that gets the job, not the person that is bypassed, right? So make sure you are saying responses to those questions so that you really stand out as the best candidate and as the best woman in leadership for the position. Now, I hope this information has been helpful to you. I have several upcoming masterclasses that you will absolutely want to be able to participate in. They are free masterclasses and they will be very interactive. The first is going to be on interview preparation, salary negotiation. The second is going to be on public speaking and presentation skills at work. Third will be on executive presence, and the fourth will be on elite communication skills at work. So if these are topics that you are interested in and you are a woman in leadership and you're ready to really accelerate your career growth, then reach out to me. Contact me at info@exciteexcellence.org. I have several services to help you to elevate your communication skills. There's a communication skills audit that really dives deep into your communication style, and you receive video feedback and have a one-on-one call with me to go over it. I'll link the description, and I'll provide the link in the description. And then I have the Confidence Game Plan, which is a great program to really help you build an unshakable confidence and an unforgettable executive presence. And then also I have interview preparation help, public speaking lessons. I have a lot of things I can share with you to really elevate your communication skills as a woman in leadership. Well, I hope you all have an amazing evening, and I want to know from you, what other topics would you like to learn more about? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to record some videos for you to help you on your journey. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye for now.